RJ Joseph volunteered to read first.
Okay. All right. We're on, Laura.
All right. Good evening and welcome to Story Hour. I'm Laura Blackwell, your host for tonight. My co-host, Daniel Marcus, started Story Hour over a year ago so that he could have his friends read to him every week. And we've been doing that. We've learned a lot of new stories, and over the year, I would say we found a lot of new stories and through them, some new friends. So it's been working out really nicely for us. And we've been doing this every Wednesday, gonna keep going. And so welcome back to those of you who are returning, and welcome to those joining us for the first time on Zoom or Facebook. As always, we have two writers reading for their favorite nonprofits. Tonight's readers are RJ Joseph and Richie Narvaez. If you are fortunate enough to help others during this time, please consider a donation to one or both of tonight's featured nonprofits, the National Resources Defense Council and United Cerebral Palsy. Richie Narvaez is reading for the Natural Resources Defense Council. NRDC works to safeguard the earth, its people, its plants and animals, and the natural systems on which all life depends. NRDC combines the power of more than 3 million members and online activists with the expertise of some 700 scientists, lawyers, and policy advocates across the globe to ensure the rights of all people to the air, the water, and the wild. You can learn more at nrdc.org. RJ Joseph is reading for the United Cerebral Palsy. UCP is committed to change and progress for adults and children with disabilities, whether it is a disability evidenced from birth, the result of an accident, or a consequence of aging. UCP local service providers, known as affiliates, provide services and support on a community-by-community basis, serving the unique needs of people with disabilities in their region. A significant percentage of people served by UCP affiliates have disabilities other than cerebral palsy, including Down syndrome, autism spectrum disorder, physical disabilities, and traumatic brain injury. You can learn more at ucp.org. Tonight's first reader is going to be RJ Joseph. But before I tell you about her, I need to remind you all that if you're here on Zoom, you can leave your camera on or off, it's up to you. I personally like to actually see that we have people here, which is, I miss people. And chime in on the text chat if you like. And if you're on Facebook, thank you very much. And we will try to get back to you, but we're not seeing your messages right away. So let's start with RJ Joseph, also known as Rhonda in conversation. Rhonda earned her MFA in writing popular fiction from Seton Hill University and currently works as an associate professor in English in Houston, Texas. She has had several stories published in various venues, including 2 anthologies of horror written by Black female writers, the Stoker Award finalist Sycorax's Daughters in Black Magic and Black Magic Women, as well as in Campfire Macabre, a flash fiction anthology, and the Halloween 2020 issue of Southwest Review. Her academic essays have also appeared in applauded collections, such as Stoker Award finalists Uncovering Stranger Things, essays on 80s nostalgia, cynicism, and innocence in the series, and The Streaming of Hill House, essays on the haunting Netflix series. Rhonda's essay from The Streaming of Hill House, The Beloved Haunting of Hill House, an examination of monstrous motherhood, is also a Stoker Award finalist for 2020. Rhonda occasionally peeks out on the internet, on Twitter at rjacksonjoseph, or her blog at rjjoseph.wordpress.com. Rhonda, RJ, welcome.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very wonderful welcome, and I appreciate being here tonight. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we're delighted to have you, and if you liked your write-up, it's because you've done some really awesome stuff. And we're excited about it too.
Thank you. I think it sounds better when someone reads it the way that you did it, right?
So thank you for that. Well, we'd love to hear the story you brought for us tonight. What have we got?
Well, tonight I thought that I would read the Little Weird Tale, Bad Feet. It is in a story collection that I'm currently shopping around to publishers. So it has not been heard to date. So this is its introduction into the universe. Bad Feet. Minerva Potts had an old lady named and old lady Bad Feet. She wasn't worried about the name. Nicknames help. Besides, she was a youthful looking middle-aged woman who often got pegged at 15 years younger than her actual age of 45. But them feet. For as long as she could remember, Minerva's feet had done their own thing. Her father still regaled her with tales of how they could never find shoes she'd keep on when she was a little kid, and how even when they thought they'd won the battle, they'd find she and her feet had dispensed with one or both of the shoes they thought would last. Shoes just never lasted for her. Quite a few things didn't last for her. It wasn't that her feet were extraordinarily big or small or fat or skinny. Her feet just hated to be cooped up inside shoes all day, every day. She could usually manage on good days a few hours a day with shoes on. After that, they were dispensed of, sometimes nicely, sometimes not so nicely. Her memories were dotted with shoes ripped to shreds or simply disappearing into wherever missing shoes went. She put them on, and as long as she stayed happy, her feet stayed happy. After too long, neither she nor her bad feet were happy being cooped up inside for hours and hours, and the shoes had to go. She could usually tell when her feet were about to dispense of shoes not so nicely. She learned to remove them so they wouldn't be destroyed. Trying to keep them from getting angry or wanting to remove people who weren't treating her nicely before her bad feet could kick in was a whole other thing. She thought of the dance discussion and the summer she went to drill team camp. As a high schooler, Minerva begged her parents to let her attend the public high school in their neighborhood so she could experience social events as other kids her age did. Up to that point, she was homeschooled. She loved being home with Mama while Daddy was at work, and she learned so much. Mama often took her for long walks through the woods so she and her feet could run through the foliage and climb the trees. Besides, there was something about a shoeless little girl that most school administrators just weren't feeling. It's okay, Mama's baby, her mother had cooed. You're just too special for them. When it came time for her to go to high school, Minerva had her heart set on dancing on the school drill team. She couldn't do that from home. She wanted to look at the audience as she danced and danced. Minerva really looked forward to the way the drill team dancers danced in the stands every time the band played a song. She hoped their band would never stop playing music so she and her feet could dance every Friday night through the basketball and football seasons. She taught herself to dance as a toddler, and her parents had even allowed her to enroll in a modern dance class across town when they saw her skills. The teacher complimented her every class session. Minerva, you dance like an angel. Dearest, never stop dancing. Minerva hardly wanted anything as much as she wanted to dance. Her feet had to dance and frolic to all the music, sometimes to no music at all. But when Miss Michelle begged Mama and Daddy to allow Minerva to study ballet under her too, they refused. We can't afford the shoes, Daddy claimed. He lowered his eyes and glanced at Mama. The way he and Mama looked at each other told Minerva they were lying. Daddy, it's not nice to, she started, but Mama shushed her. She could also tell that Miss Michelle knew her parents were lying, but couldn't do anything about it. Minerva quizzed them when they left and got back in the car. Why did you tell that lie, Daddy? Mama, you said we should never tell lies, and you let Daddy tell a great big one. Why can't I go learn different dance with Miss Michelle? Minerva remembered the look of her daddy's eyes in the rearview mirror. She had never wanted anything more than she wanted to dance. In that moment, it was all she could focus on. It was what she and her feet wanted most in the whole world. And daddy and mama were being mean to them all. You know you got bad feet, baby girl. Just enjoy the modern classes with no shoes. All the other types of dance require keeping shoes on for a long time, and that won't be good for your feet. Minerva was so angry, she thought she would pop. But dancing makes me happy. It makes my feet happy. We don't care if we have to wear shoes to do it sometimes. Her 6-year-old self didn't understand the concept of controlling emotions, and she began to cry and kick in the back seat. Through the fog of her anger, she could hear her parents calling to her to calm down and watch them feet. Minerva kicked and screamed until the car came to a sudden, jarring stop. She continued to thrash about until Mama and Daddy circled her in their arms as they stood outside their car. The vehicle looked like it had been wrecked from the inside out. The front of the vehicle tilted in a crumpled heap at the foot of the light pole where it had landed, not quite touching the pole, but rather resting against it. Holes the size of bowling balls dotted the doors. The roof was blown off. The front seats were smashed against the dashboard, and Minerva wondered how Mama and Daddy had gotten out of the car. The back windows where Minerva was sitting were all broken out, one with the shattered glass still hanging in the frame, a single hole punched through. She stared up at her parents. The unconditional love they typically displayed was unmasked and replaced with something different: fear. Even as a young child, Minerva instantly understood her parents had always held back this scary emotion up to that point. Her tantrum terrified them. Minerva wanted to make them happy again. So she danced. She and her bad feet pranced and leapt and spun until their fear was replaced with the resolute silence they mostly masked themselves with. They walked home, Minerva insisting she wanted to walk all the way on her bad feet, and her parents on each side of her walking in silence. She felt bad that the condition of their car was because of her. But she and her feet were walking and dancing, so she was happy, and so were her bad feet. However, Minerva never asked to take any other dance classes again, and she quit modern dance just before she turned 14. By high school, all she wanted to do was dance on the drill team. That first year, she struggled to keep her shoes on all day and sat in the back of the classroom so she could take the shoes off while she worked in class. She was really good at making people forget she was sitting right next to them, so no one caught her doing those first months. She couldn't audition for drill team until the end of her freshman year, so she wanted to make sure her grades and conduct marks stayed high so she wouldn't be barred by the administrators or her parents from auditioning. Minerva aced the auditions with a contemporary routine she choreographed herself. During her interview, the director complimented her effusively. "I've never seen such technique. We just may have to get you to help the captain with some routines this year. You might even make captain someday, soon." Minerva felt the side eyes of many of the team members gave her. She ignored them. All she wanted to do was dance. Mom and Daddy questioned her about the drill team summer camp. How long will it be? How far away is it? You will watch them bad feet, won't you? She'd never been allowed to go away from home without her parents, not even to relatives' homes. Her being separated from them was new for everyone, and she felt a little sad that she wanted to be on her own for a few days. Minerva thought they worried too much. She shooed them away when they dropped her off at the campsite. "I'll be fine, and I'll watch my feet." She skipped into the main building to get her room assignment. The only thing that could have possibly made her any happier in that moment was if they started teaching the camp dances on the spot at registration. She knew the instruction would start soon enough, and the thought helped her calm her feet. First, she had to get settled into her cabin. Her feet moved to their own beat as she made her bed and put away her things. Happy bad feet. Her happiness lasted only as long as that night. After a vigorous short routine, Minerva felt her face heat up as instructor after instructor gave her kind words about her movements. Several of the girls joined in, gathering around her. She mostly noticed those from her own team who didn't join in. In fact, the anger swarming off the captain of her school's team, Lainey, burned Minerva down to the soles of her bad feet. Lainey cornered her in her room while Minerva's three roommates were conspicuously absent. Don't get to thinking you're hot stuff, Nerve. I'm the captain of this team, and you're nothing but a darky dark, nappy-headed, big-lip wannabe. Go back to Africa. Minerva's first instinct was to laugh. Lainey was Black too, although she had a much lighter complexion than Minerva's smooth dark coloring. She wasn't an ugly girl, but she acted ugly. Mama had always told her that you could be as pretty on the outside as you wanted to be, but if you were ugly on the inside, then it would make you ugly all the way around. That was the way Lainey looked to her. A small twinge of pity began inside Minerva when she tried to understand that people like Lainey only had one thing going for them, and they felt threatened when that one thing might be taken from them. Everybody couldn't be like her and have two wonderful feet that would always be with them and keep them happy. Then she noted the ugly nickname Lainey had called her, and the pity vanished. Hey. Lainey pushed her down against the small wooden dresser. Minerva fell on the floor, bottom first. Take your ugly butt back to wherever you came from, Black Nerve. Minerva was so hurt and angry she thought she would pop. Negative feelings swirled inside her until she felt a sweet release. She had indeed popped. Her feet grew and grew until swirling, shimmering brown tentacles swarmed from her soles. Fluorescent colors shone through, the appendages waving in the dim cabin light, dancing only to a beat that she and they could hear. Lainey stood, mouth open, rooted to the floor in the middle of the room. The tentacles wrapped around the girl, squeezing until her face darkened, though still not as dark as Minerva's. Rows and rows of exposed teeth glimmered in the light the appendages created. Still they danced, holding Lainey as an unwilling partner in their waltz. Tiny nibbles of the girl's body turned into all-out voracious devouring. They chomped and slurped and lapped at the blood and gore covering the hard floors of the cabin. All that was left of Lainey when they were done was her team spirit hair bow. Minerva had one already, but she figured two wouldn't hurt. She waited until the tentacles had all slid back underneath her skin, returning to her feet before she retrieved the bow. Her feet felt happy, not bad at all. She felt happy too. After the incident was investigated and it was determined that Lainey must have simply run away while at camp, the drill team director held a special tryout for an assistant captain. The previous assistant captain inherited the spot that Lainey had vacated. Then Minerva had easily won the second in command spot. For a brief moment, she contemplated going for the captain position, but decided it would be too risky. Besides, she hadn't yet understood how to control them bad feet of hers. Throughout the following year, she honed her skills and studied what made her feet do the most terribly beyond bad things. The happy emotions kept the monsters at bay. The negative ones triggered their appearance. And only when Minerva really, really wanted something. She spent her life not wanting much, finding complete joy in dancing and teaching dance to children. Her feet made her happy. But at the youthful looking middle age of 45, Minerva really, really wanted a boyfriend. One who would take her, bad feet and all. And that's it.
That was delicious.
Thank you.
How did you manage to make it feel so wicked and so pure at the same time?
Not so sure. I think that here, being a Black Southern woman, I've grown up in this culture where, we talk about various elements. And my sister and I, as we're getting older, are always talking about, oh, girl, my feet are so bad. My feet are bad. And I think, and one day I thought about what would it be like if somebody really had bad feet? Like, not just they're achy, not just, they cramp up, but like really bad feet. What would that look like? And so I thought about it from the perspective of someone who was born with them. Like, she didn't think they were bad until people told her they were bad, right?
And maybe they weren't really so
And maybe
bad.
they weren't, right?
Except for maybe eating people every now and then.
Right.
But,
I mean, there is
maybe
that.
they needed eating. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, that was delightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, we always need a breath in between. Take the last breath of one story and breathe it out. Get ready for the next one. Our next reader is Richie Narvaez. Richie Narvaez teaches at the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan. His short stories have appeared in Mississippi Review, Pilgrimage, Story Glossia, and Tiny Nightmares, among others. His slipstream short story Room for Rent, from the anthology Latinx Rising, was read by LeVar Burton on the LeVar Burton Reads podcast. That's pretty awesome. His most recent novel is the YA mystery Holly Hernandez and the Death of Disco, and his latest book is the anthology Noir Yorican, which I didn't even ask him how to pronounce because it just seems obvious. Noir Yorican?
Noir Eurekan, actually.
Noir Yorican, like
Noir
Puerto
Eurekan.
Rican.
Right, like a New Eurekan, but noir
You
kind
thought
of.
I should have asked.
That's all right.
Sorry,
that's
Richie.
All right.
Well, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We're delighted to. What have you brought for us to hear tonight?
Tonight I am reading a short story called Galán that appeared in the anthology Latinx Screams. It is a spec fic horror story with a little YA. And I will say it takes Bradbury's short story, I Sing the Body Electric, and kind of twists it in a different direction. So this is Galán. Abuela's brown knotted hands wound the bobbins back and forth, around and through. She paused to pull the brilliant white strings taut. Patterns took shape along the edges of the handkerchief, rigid squares, tiny flowers. The beauty of her grandmother's craft work was not lost upon Jasmine. But why did it have to take such a long time? The 12-year-old yawned. My fingers hurt, Abuela said, sighing. Now you do it. Jasmine's mouth dropped open in melodramatic disbelief. Her grandmother said, I embroidered a pañuelo for my father when I was a girl. Now you have to do one for your father. Then you put his initials for respect. She moved the old wooden loom box off of her lap and onto Jasmine's. She grabbed for the girl's wrists, but Jasmine pulled away. Sit right, said the old woman in Spanish. I am. Sit like a lady. Jasmine rolled her eyes and shook her head. Her mother's mother had come to live with them, and Dad had asked her to make Abuela feel welcome and said it might be fun, but in no way was this fun. Jasmine lied then that she had homework to do and went quickly up to her room. At dinner that night, she concentrated on her plate in order to avoid her grandmother's piercing stare. Dad served his famous beet loaf but Abuela looked at it and said, again, you cooked? Whatever this is, a man is not supposed to be making the dinner, maybe on special occasions, but not every night. It's not right. There's a lot of things not right in this house. Jasmine's father said, I told you, Ma, you don't want to taste Mildred's cooking. Trust me. I won't eat this, Abuela said, her old face sour, wrinkled. Then you won't eat, Jasmine's mother said. Abuela left the table, and the family finished the meal in silence. The driverless school bus came to a stop. Jasmine jumped out and ran home through the searing heat, down the sidewalk, up the short porch. The front door whooshed shut behind her, and in the cold of the vestibule, she tossed off her air filter, book bag, jacket, cap visor. Mom, she called and called. Then she turned into the living room. Her parents, her older sister Destiny, and her little brother Tyrion were there. In the middle of them stood a 1.5-meter tall robot. It had an oblong head, a body of white molded plastic, and a black screen for a face. From the screen, 2 lights turned to look at Jasmine, and underneath them another series of lights turned up into a smile. She was immediately disappointed. I wanted an electric blue one, she said. I'm sorry, Jazz, her mother said. They ran out of electric blue ones, but now you have a robot just like all the other kids at school, so don't complain. Señorita, yo soy XU11211, the robot said. Me alegra encontrarme con vosotros. Mom shook her head. Oof, it's so formal. XU112 whatever, this is my little girl, Jasmine. Señorita Jasmine, ¿cómo se siente hoy? Yeah, hi, I guess. Tyrion, eating a vegan meat stick, was already bored with the robot. Behind him, Destiny chatted on her visor with her friends, her hands typing in the air. It was clear she couldn't care less about the robot. Its voice is weird, Mom, Jasmine says. Is it a he or a she? The body electrics people made me choose a gender, and since your father and brother always complain how they feel outnumbered, I picked male. So this makes it even, I hope. Destiny spoke, never taking her eyes off of her text. We got to change its name then. I'm not saying the 112 whatever. Sure, the mother said. Let's call him something like Chip or Todd, so I'll enjoy ordering him around. Honey, Jasmine's father said, I think maybe we want the robot to feel like it's part of the family. How about something like Galán? I had a dog named Galán when I was a kid, and I just loved him. Fine, whatever Galán it is. XU, your new name is Galán. Got it? Gracias por mi nombre, señora. Me gustalo, señorita Jasmine. ¿Quieres un bocadillo? A boca what? It's a snack, Jazz, her mother said. Pay attention. No thanks, Galán, said Jasmine. Then Destiny said, Christ, why does it have to speak Spanish? Because I don't want this family to lose its culture, the mother said. So with XU, I mean, Mr. Galán here, we can all practice and learn to speak better, okay? Evs, said Destiny. Jasmine glared at her sister and, wanting, as always, to behave differently from her, she said, the robot is great, Mom. Thank you. Well, your grandmother's been here 2 months and she still complains about your father doing the cooking and cleaning. I hope this makes her happy because I've had it up to here. Has she seen it? She has. She called it a monster and ran away to her room. In the den, Jasmine drew an animated picture of Galán on her tablet. Over the music playing on her visor, she could hear the robot working in the kitchen. He sounds busy in there, the father said. I want to know what he's making. Relax, okay, Jasmine's mother said in her lounge chair, turned toward the wall screen. She was doing bills with flicks of her fingers. I swear, Juan, you get so hysterical sometimes. I need to peek, Dad said. And then to Jasmine, want to see, honey? Can we, Dad? Let's, sweetheart. Juan, Mom said. Jasmine's father gently pushed open the kitchen door and they stuck their heads in. Immediately, their noses were filled with a scent of roasting pork, sizzling garlic, chopped cilantro, frying plantains. She watched as a robot, wearing a frill-fringed apron that read, Uploading, Chef, stood by the kitchen island as his torso whirled from magnetic induction stove to cupboard to fridge, while at the same time carving a mango in the air so that its pit flew out of its bright orange sheath and into the composter. He's amazing, Jasmine said. It looks like I'm out of a job, her father said. He's a whole army of cooks. While its body remained facing the oven to remove the glistening pork, Galán swiveled his head all the way around at them. Dinner will be served in 12 minutes and 32 seconds. Jasmine and her father yelped and closed the door. In 12 minutes and 32 seconds, Galán emerged from the kitchen in a cloud of fragrant steam and announced in Spanish that dinner was ready. Jasmine's mother called for Destiny to come down to eat. She went from calm to stern to furious as she spent 10 minutes calling upstairs for her daughter. Destiny finally showed, slinking down the stairs as if the entire family weren't already starving, as if she couldn't smell that amazing pork. After placing the food on the table, Galán said, "Buen provecho," and stood by the kitchen door awaiting further instructions. With a atypical show of enthusiasm, Destiny said, "Damn, Dad, I hate to say it, but these are the best black beans I ever tasted. That robot can really cook." Everyone was enjoying the meal, except Raquela. "I will not eat this," she said. "I will not eat something made by an abomination." "Abuela, Galán is just an appliance," Mom said, "like a microwave." "So you're feeding me microwave food like a dog? You should be cooking, not working late all the time in the basement. I'm not going to eat this garbage." She got up from the table and, doing so, bumped into Galán, knocking over the pitcher it held onto the floor in a wet crash. "Ay, qué estúpido." By the glow of her bedroom wall, Jasmine finished her advanced calc homework. When she was done, she held it up to Galán, who scanned it. The robot said, in English, "Questions 3, 5, 6, 7, 14, 22, 23, and 36 are incorrect. They must be attempted again." "I can't do this," Jasmine curled up in a ball. "I hate math." Just then, her mother walked by the door. "Did you switch the robot's language back to English?" "No, Mom. I spoke to him in English, and then he started speaking it to me, I swear." "How are you supposed to learn, Jazz?" Her mother turned to the robot. "Galán, only Spanish. Understand?" "Sí, entiendo." Jasmine was still in the middle of homework when the doorbell chittered downstairs. She ran past Galán and past her grandmother to see who it was. She tapped the lock, and the door whooshed open, and there, slouched against the doorframe, his pants halfway down his legs, was Destiny's latest friend. He was almost 20, and he wore the newest model visor, the kind that was surgically embedded into your skull. "Hey, Nike," Jasmine said. "It's Nike trademark." Every inch of his skin was covered in tats of different products from the footwear company, each with its own QR code. It was his main source of income. "What's the difference?" Jasmine asked. He sighed. "Destiny? Upstairs, where else?" Abuela stared at the teen loping up the stairs, his pants threatening to fall to his ankles. "He can't go upstairs," she said, "like he owns the place. That's not right. Eso no haces." "But it doesn't look, Abuela, relax. They're just friends. At least that's what she says. But it doesn't look good. Your grandfather would never have allowed that." "That was a long time ago, Abuela." The grandmother looked ready to explode. And then suddenly, behind her, Galán said, "Señora Bustamante, would you like to play dominoes?" "Ay, you scared me. Why is this thing talking to me?" "If you wish, I would very much like to play dominoes with you." It took Jasmine a moment to understand what the robot had said in Spanish. Then she said, "Oh, play, Abuela, play. I ask people to play dominoes with me all the time, and no one wants to play." "That's because you always win," Jasmine said. "I will play with you," the robot said. "I'm not going to play with this thing." Abuela crossed her arms and began to walk toward her little room to be alone again. "Hold up, Grandma," Jasmine said. "Are you afraid Galán will beat you?" "Beat me? Ha! All right, Mr. Microwave, let me teach you how to play dominoes." Later, when Jasmine's mother came into her room to say goodnight, she said, "That was a great idea to have Galán play dominoes with your grandmother." "He was the one who asked her first," she said. "It wasn't my idea." "The robot asked her?" At that moment, through the wall, they heard Destiny screech in laughter. Jasmine said, "Sounds like Destiny's friend is still here. Nike trademark is still here. He spends a lot of time with her, doesn't he?" "I guess." "Listen, Jazz, I'll be working late in the basement office tonight. So bother your dad if you need anything, okay?" "Okay, Mom." Her mother passed a hand over the wall. The room colors dimmed and ambient noise began. She closed the door behind her. Over the next few weeks, Jasmine noticed that the robot spent more and more time with her grandmother. They worked outside together, the robot holding an umbrella to screen Abuela from the intense sun in the garden. In the kitchen, they cooked, testing recipes and chatting all the time in Spanish. And every night, they played dominoes in the game room. One night, Jasmine was trying to get Galán to switch from Spanish as he talked about pre-Columbian history. Suddenly, he asked something that she did understand and that shocked her. He said something that she did understand and that shocked her. Sit right, the robot said. What? I am sitting right. Spanish. Jasmine did her best to sit up straight and keep her knees close together. Como esto? She said. Okay. Tell me, the robot said. How was school today? Jasmine tried to answer her in her best Spanish. It am fast. I am a lot of homework. Tell me, Galán said, what do you want to do when you are an adult? I did not know. Maybe I can be like my mother, executive or science or doctor. Wouldn't you like to be a wife? The robot said. Wouldn't you like to have a handsome husband and many healthy children? Uy, no. That is not a good way for a young lady to think. You have to think like a lady. Their doorbell chittered then, and Jasmine was about to run to see who it was when Galán moved quickly and tapped open the door. It was Nike trademark, slouching against the door frame. He said nothing to Galán and took a step inside, but the robot quickly clamped onto his arm with rigid titanium fingers. What the fuck, Destiny? Miss Destiny is busy doing her homework, Galán said. Not anymore, Nike trademark tried to get in, but the robot increased the pressure on his arm. Ow! A gentleman does not visit with a young lady unchaperoned. I certainly cannot allow you to go to her room. Jasmine heard Destiny clomping down the stairs. What the fucking fuck is going on? Get off him, robot. Galán does not want Nike to visit you, Jasmine. Nike trademark. What? This is my house, robot. Come on, Nike trademark. The young man tried to move around the robot, but Galán held him in place. I can't. He's totally strong. Fuck this, Destiny said. She got her sunscreen coat and air filter and pushed past the robot and out the door, taking her friend with her. She yelled behind her, tell Mom I'll be home whenever. Jasmine shook her head. Someone's gonna be in trouble. Dinner that night was silent. Her parents barely ate and looked anywhere but at each other. Much later, around 2 a.m, Jasmine heard a scream, not of horror or surprise, but of outrage. She recognized that scream. It was Destiny. I can't believe this. You're insane. You totally sent that thing after me. I'm a prisoner. Jasmine peeked down the stairs. Coming in the doorway was her sister, looking disheveled, hair and makeup smeared, held firmly by Galán. Make him let me go. The mother standing there ordered Galán to let Destiny go. And when he did, Destiny kicked him. Ow! Mom said, I promise you, Dee, we didn't send the robot after you. It's not even programmed to leave the property. I don't know how this could have happened. You're lying. You totally sent him to get me because you just want to control me. Oh, please, not this again, Mom said, though it's not crazy to say you've been seeing too much of Nike trademark and you should give him a rest. Oh my God, you're impossible. Oh, Destiny, sweetie, let me give you, Dad said, let me give you a hug. Jasmine watched them from the darkness at the top of the stairs until she started to get sleepy. As she moved back to go to bed, she saw that the door to her grandmother's room at the back of the first floor was ajar, and that her grandmother had also been watching and listening. In the morning, Jasmine came down to find her father had made a big breakfast of spinach frittata, toast and juice. Where's Galán? She said, moving her food around her plate. And good morning to you too, Jazz. Is he malfunctioning? No, sweetheart, your mother decided to take him offline until she has time to get a techie here. I'm sure he just needs a diagnostic. I need him to help me with my homework. Don't you already have a tablet to help you with that? But Galán's different. He's more interactive. I'm sorry, honey. You're just going to have to learn to live without him. Now, please eat your frittata. After breakfast, Jasmine went to Galán's recharging unit in the laundry storage room. Abuela sat on the stool there watching the robot. A green bar moved steadily across its face. Powered down, Galán seemed smaller, empty. Do you think he is dreaming? Abuela said. I thought you said he was just a microwave. No, Galán is not just a microwave. He's good. He's not a person, but he's good. Jasmine saw then that on the robot's chest was the handkerchief Abuela had been working on, and now it had the name Galán gracefully embroidered on it. That night, through the ambient noise of her walls, Jasmine heard her name and woke up to see her sister peering down at her. Shh, Destiny said, I heard something. What? How? You always have your visor on. Shut up. I haven't been able to think, so I had it off, and I just heard someone come in the back door. We have to tell Mom she's in the basement. I tried that stupid. I texted her and haven't got a response. What about Dad? Destiny smirked. Really? What can he do? I want to check this out for myself, and you're coming with me. They moved quietly downstairs and saw the basement door. It was wide open. They heard strange noises and something heavy moving. It could be a burglar, Destiny said. Where's your asshole robot now? Mommy shut him off. Then it's up to, they heard a sharp yelp then. I know that yelp. That's Nike TM. Nice Nike trademark. Sorry. They went to the top of the basement stairs and looked down. There was Destiny's friend, his loose jeans completely off. He was held in the air by Galán, titanium fingers around the youth's neck. Galán, please don't hurt him, Jasmine said. You are not a gentleman, said Galán. Then he released Nike trademark. The young man trudged up the stairs, trying to pull up his pants, pushing past the girls, saying nothing to Destiny. She stood shocked and then collapsed into sobs. Jasmine's father came up behind them. How did that crazy robot go back online? Then looking down to see everything at the bottom of the stairs, he said, oh no. Jasmine followed her father's eyes and saw that down in the cellar, now that Nike trademark had gone, she could see someone on the basement floor, her mother. She had no clothes on and was trying to curl herself into a ball to hide from her family's eyes. Mommy, are you hurt? Jasmine said. Things are wrong in this house, said the robot. We are going to fix them. Jasmine rushed down to dinner. The table was already set. Smells came from the kitchen, something burnt, something sour. At the table, Tyrion picked his nose with gusto, and Destiny sobbed softly into her hands. Dad stared into space. Out of the living room came Galán, who, to Jasmine's surprise, sat at the head of the table. Galán, you don't sit there. Be quiet, girl, said the robot in Spanish. As Jasmine was about to protest again, her mother entered from the kitchen carrying full plates of steaming food. Dad was about to get up and help her, but Galán's hand shot out and grabbed one of her father's wrists, holding him in place. Jasmine's mother first served Dad and then Tyrion. As Jasmine was about to eat, Galán put its hands together and said, let us say grace. Jasmine looked over at her grandmother, and Abuela was smiling as she closed her eyes and put her own hands together in prayer. Thank you. That's it. That is Galán. Thanks for listening.
Wow.
How was that?
Similarly, very pure and yet very wicked in places.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to use some blue language. I forgot whether I could.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
fine.
that's fine.
yeah. Okay.
Next time you're on, do a content warning before in case somebody's got a little
Okay.
kid running around, but
Right. Okay.
that's fine. We
Okay.
like cussing here.
Okay. Good.
I mean, we're fine with it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, Daniel, I feel like we've had another couple of stories that have nothing and everything in common.
Yep. Happens every week.
Ah, thank you both so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful.
It's a
I'm
fun
gonna have
show.
to watch this one again because I enjoyed both of these stories so much.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this robot story was the best thing ever tonight. I love it.
And the stories went
Thank
together
you.
really well, didn't they?
Yeah.
With all the subverted expectations and
Yeah.
the
Family
sly
stuff.
humor
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the dawning creepiness. Just
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, this has been a great evening. Thank you both. Next week is also going to be a great evening. We're going to have Gemma Files and Susan Palumbo. And you can keep up to date about upcoming authors at storyhour2020.com. You can see any programs you may have missed, or like me, go watch this one again on the Story Hour page on Facebook. This was a fantastic night, and thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, for bringing us all here in the first place. And all of you who are here, all of you who are watching later, thank you for being part of Story Hour. Good night.
Night,
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Good night.